Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing okay, and I'm really sorry for the delay in the upload. I haven't been feeling well, but today my voice is proper. So without further ado, let's get started. So formalities out of the way, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Okay, so today we're going to be doing irritability with depression. And I haven't actually touched on this because it is a bit of a touchy subject for a lot of people who get irritated about it. But I'm gonna show you how I get irritated and how I've noticed a lot of my friends with depression get irritated, and then give you a few pointers on how to manage the situation. Just from my personal experience and from experience that I've had with my other friends. And sometimes people react differently. So if it doesn't work immediately, don't freak out and don't be like, oh my gosh, she lied. No, everyone is different. So you might not react the same way that your neighbor does. Some people have exceptionally long fuses and they can just deal with drama and chaos. And I send a big shout out to the moms of the world for putting up with the madness that is like having kids. But for the rest of us who like spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to calm the heck down, this is for you, my people. This is for you. Irritability with your spouse. And this is the main one because I've noticed that when you have depression and let's say your spouse doesn't have depression, that might be boyfriend, girlfriend, life partner, whatever you identify as, that's your business. But the person that you love, your person, if you watch Grey's Anatomy, hashtag Grey's. So if your person is frustrating you more so than usual, and as you know, our people tend to frustrate us the most. I've noticed that when you're in a relationship, they bring out the best and the worst in you. And it's really your job with depression to kind of figure out how to find a balance so that you can be your best self. So, what I've noticed is, from my experience, it helps for me to just get it all out of the way. I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm irritated, you frustrate me, shut the hell up. That's just me. But I happen to have a very responsive partner who takes it seriously and who says, I'm sorry, I hear you, I understand you. Whereas from someone else's point of view, they might need to calm down. I know my partner will tend to say, I need a second. And he will go off and, I don't know, count to 10 or something. I don't know. He will go and calm down and come back because he doesn't want to yell. And I think that's really admirable in a man. And so if you are like that, if you feel like you don't want to yell and you don't want to scream, it's okay. Your partner will eventually understand. I need to go. I need to calm down. I need to take a walk. I need to breathe. I need to ground myself. And we're going to talk about grounding towards the end of the video. But sometimes you just need to bring yourself back into the present. Try not to think about the fight or the thing that's irritating you so much. And just take a deep breath, look around yourself and see life is still beautiful. Irritability with your housemates. This could be really touchy for some people. I know I don't have issues with people around me. I grew up with a very large family, so multiple personalities in one house under one roof don't really affect me as much as I've noticed it would affect other people. I had a friend who once went on holiday with me, and I felt like she was uncomfortable for a lot of the time because she's very isolated and she's one of those, I want my space type of people, which is also what I'm like, but I'm also a people pleaser. So there's a bit of a problem there. If you find yourself confused and annoyed because maybe you have extreme OCD and you need to have like if you have a bottle of water and your water needs to be here and now suddenly your water is like there and you freak the hell out, I'm not gonna make light of this. Obviously you have a problem. Obviously you have a problem with this. Communication is key. So we're going to go back to communication a lot because I feel like the more we talk to people and explain what we're feeling, the better it's going to be and the easier it's going to be for us to understand each other. So let's say you have clashing personalities. maybe it's best for you to be open about your depression. And it's obviously up to the other person about whether or not they want to believe you, whether or not they want to understand, and whether or not they want to be educated about it. But just imagine if you are housemates or roommates with this person, I would imagine that there's enough trust for this person to care about you and to understand that you have needs the same way that you need to understand that they have needs. So if for them, they've put the water here and you wanted it there, you can just be like, I understand that you put it there and it was a mistake. Could you maybe just give me the water next time and I'll put it in the right place, so that you don't have to worry about making that mistake. And I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think that's gonna make anyone angry. On the contrary, yeah, it might be more work for you, but at the end of the day, aren't you the one that wants it this specific way? If that person doesn't really know how to, it might take them a while. And if they can't make the effort, then maybe it's time for you to kind of find someone new. Or more importantly, maybe it's time for you to wonder why. Why is this person not meeting me halfway? Or am I being overly sensitive? Am I asking for too much? Is what I'm asking for petty? Because sometimes we who have depression tend to get so absorbed with our own problems, we don't see that other people might be struggling too. And that isn't to say that you're selfish in any way. It just means that sometimes you need to think outside the box, outside of your depression, and see what's happening in your surroundings. I know that we tend to bring ourselves into this little bubble and put ourselves there and stay there, and the world kind of just moves on without us. Let's try and avoid that. Let's try and break that cycle. And it's just important for us and for self-care. Self-care is so important. If you've ever had a therapist, that's the one thing that's always consistent when you tell them that you don't feel good, and when they have decided that you have depression or anxieties or any kind of problem, therapists will always go self-care, self-care, self-care. Why? Because it's important. It's important to love yourself. So if you cannot commit to loving yourself, how could you possibly love someone else and make them whole? Love your partner, love your roommate, love your housemate, love your family, if you can't love yourself. And I know that that might be a little deep for this video, but at the end of the day, if God can love you, and that's if you believe in a higher power, but if God can love you and he thinks you're to die for, I think you should cut yourself some slack and love yourself too. So next is irritability in the workplace. I cannot even begin to explain this one, because what I've noticed is last year I had a very stressful job. It was very demanding. It wasn't an issue, but I always had to be up and down. I had to get in my car and drive. And I lived outside of town, kind of like on a farm. So I had to drive there all the time, like on weekends and stuff, just to sort out problems, like emergencies, which isn't an issue. But when you have depression and you show up on Monday, you still feel like crap. You still want your weekend and you feel like your weekend's just flown by. You're like, okay, nice to see you. That's what it feels like. Like I never had a weekend, I never had a moment's rest, and it's so frustrating. So when it comes to the workplace, try not to project. I feel like a workplace, it's just my opinion, a workplace is a place to just get your work done. And it's perfectly fine to have work friends and to do work things and to, maybe go out and have lunch with your friends, with your work friends, But when it comes to things like depression and all that, it's safer to have it somewhat private, so that HR is the only one that knows why you need this one day off to go and get your assessment, your psych assessment, or why you needed to be hospitalized. You don't want people to see you be weak. You do want them to know that you need time off, but you don't need them to know why. Sometimes, because people at work don't always have your best interest at heart, sometimes it's best to kind of keep yourself sheltered. Guard your heart. So it's fine if it leaks and someone says, oh, do you have depression? Don't be ashamed. Depression is not like having some random disease that's uncurable that you somehow can't fix and it's all your fault. No, this happened to you. You did not allow this to happen. It happened to you. So you can say, yeah, I have depression, but I'm having a good day today. And, it's not a big deal. Even though it's a big deal, sometimes people use it against you. I remember being in varsity and feeling like super depressed for a lot of the time, and I thought talking about it would help, but all people would do would just put more pressure on me to feel better, and that's counterproductive to your depression. It's counterproductive to your recovery, especially if you're far from home, you don't have very many friends, so sometimes it's just important to let people do their own thing and you do your own thing. Don't project. If you're irritated and you get to work, take 10 minutes of your day and play solitaire. Take a moment and call what I call a depression sponsor, which is that really close friend that knows that you have depression, who might also have depression or who has gone through it, who you talk to every day and who you text and who you talk to and who you just have a good time with. Text that person, call that person, tell them I'm having a rough day. They will bring you, some kind of light into your very difficult day. And you can also be a depression sponsor. You can also help those around you. Just try to remember, stay guarded, love yourself, and you're gonna knock off at the end of the day. And you're gonna wish you hadn't whined about this the whole day, because now tomorrow everyone's gonna kind of look at you and give you issues if you have that kind of work environment, especially in corporate. You don't want people to think that you cannot do your job. So you could be the best at your job and you might be having a bad day, and then suddenly you're up for review. Suddenly you might need some time off. Suddenly that promotion shouldn't really be given to you. So no, no. Self-help is important. So you need to take good care of yourself and show them that a person with depression can do just as much as a person without it. You just need to be able to take your meds, do your exercises, take a break, have a smoke if that's what you need, although you really shouldn't. Just take a moment out of your day. The sky is not going to fall. The sun will still rise in the east and set in the west tomorrow. If you take 5 minutes outside to count to 10, to just meditate, to just take a breath, it's perfectly fine. But remember, do your job, because it's worse to have depression and be unemployed. At children. Sorry, guys. Okay, so lashing out at children is actually a problem for me, because sometimes I don't feel like dealing with the kids around. I don't have any kids, so I don't really have a lot of experience dealing with children, but what I have noticed is I love to hang out with kids until like a certain point where I just can't take it anymore. And I start to feel anxiety about not being able to take care of this child that's not even mine, and I still have to be all happy and I don't feel happy. Children can sense when you're projecting, and they can sense when you're irritated, and they will feel like they're the problem, and they're not the problem. You know that the depression is the problem, and that you're just projecting and you're taking out your frustrations on this child. Just remove yourself from the situation. If you feel like it's too much, okay, there's an option number one, but let's go straight to option number two. Option number two, should option number one fail, remove yourself from the situation, tell them you need to go to the bathroom, make up some story, kindly, and just to remove yourself from the situation. Just go, hand this child back to their parents, give them back to grandma, whatever, but just remove yourself, because you do not want to be projecting on this innocent soul that has done nothing to you. You don't want them to feel bad. You want this child to grow up happy and lovely and beautiful. So you just move yourself. You know what you have to do. Remove yourself, okay? But option number one, which is what I've actually been working on personally lately, is actually involve yourself. And involve yourself means look at this child and remember what you were like at this age. And remember how beautiful and how innocent the world was. And just bask in that. Just enjoy that moment of, oh my God, this child has their entire lives ahead of them. It's going to be so amazing. It's going to be so beautiful, and they don't nothing. They're Jon Snow, basically. Game of Thrones fan, sorry. So just enjoy it. Live in the moment. If there's one thing that depression has taught me, is to love the moments that I might not realize are important later. So just taking a walk with my friends, or just teaching this child how to color in the lines, or telling her how to say their word the proper way. I appreciate those moments because I know that they might forget, because it might seem insignificant. But for me, I've just helped another human being. And one of the things about depression that you will learn as you travel in this journey is that helping others makes you feel so good because now you know they don't have to feel the pain that you feel. You know that somehow you've made this person feel better, you've made this person feel important. And that makes you feel good because you've done something good. That means depression's not taking over your life. Sometimes we feel like depression takes over so much that we just don't know what to do and we don't know how to help each other. But when it comes to kids, they're just grateful for anything. They're grateful for playing thumb war with you. That moment, you should bask in it. Don't retreat from it. That is love. That is love. And you should never reject love that comes from someone as innocent as a child. One is depression and taking out your frustrations on your pet. So, I'm really hoping none of you guys are guilty of this because it's just wrong. Like, animals are amazing and they treat us so much better than our fellow human beings because they're just like, I'm gonna love you, and that's just the end of it. I personally feel like if I didn't have my dogs in my life, I would have probably jumped off a bridge or something because they just know. I remember coming home at around 6, feeling defeated from work and thinking, oh crap, I have to feed my dog, I have to take down the laundry from the line, I have to iron, I have to get ready for tomorrow, I have to cook dinner, I have to do all these things. That I was living alone and I'm so far from everything. And I would get home with all this anxiety and already like the sense of dread of, oh crap, I have to do all this and I don't want to do all of this. Only to get there and have this huge creature run up to me and lick my face. And then I felt better. Just immediately. Why? Because animals give you unconditional love. And even if you're a cat person, I personally don't like cats. I think that they're great to look at as a meme and from a distance, but I don't like cats. I don't trust creatures that don't make a sound when there's intruders. I need me a dog or like an alligator or something that's gonna make a noise when someone's trying to jump over my gate, you know? But jokes aside, even if you're a cat person, snuggle your cat, you know? Snuggle your tarantula. Can you snuggle a tarantula? I don't know. Comment below if you can snuggle a tarantula. Love your creature because your creature loves you so much, especially if this is a rescue, especially if this pet has been with you from birth. They don't know they're getting big and old. They just know that you used to love them when they were this little. So now that they're this big, you still have to love them. They will love you unconditionally no matter what. And that's one thing I noticed is I always feel better when I have affection directed at me. Sorry, my bangs are in my eye. My bad. Hold on. I cut these myself. Do they look uneven? I'm sorry. Anyway. So what I was saying was don't take out your frustration. So don't abuse your pet because you feel bad. On the contrary, your pet is there to literally take the stress out of you. Like, kind of like a towel. They will squeeze all that stress out and then re-sponge it with love. Accept it. Enjoy it. Depression sucks. But life is beautiful. And even when life isn't beautiful, there are still these things that could make it better. Children, friends, loved ones, family, your cat, your dog, your pet snake if that's what rocks your boat. At the end of the day, there's always something that loves you. Even if it's just a bird or anything. There will always be one thing that loves you. And if you feel like you're alone because you can't even have a pet, don't forget God loves you. And that's if you believe in a higher power. But I really hope that if you're suffering from depression, you believe in something greater than yourself, even if it's just the universe. Because at the end of the day, there will always be balance. And as long as you give love, you'll receive love. Anyway, that's all for today. I really hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And remember, I am not a licensed psychologist. So if your depression is out of control and you're struggling too much and you feel like you don't know what to do, please check out the links in the description. I will make sure that I put everything that you need down there, how to get help, where to get help, numbers that you can call, emails, etc. And if you have any comments or suggestions, or if you have anything you want me to do in the future, please comment below. I will be more than happy to answer questions and to just chat. Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful weekend ahead of you and stay safe. Bye guys.